Hey friends. Okay, so actually I was working on something pretty exciting for you guys. But I just found out. So I can't actually post like quotes online. I can't show you like the real numbers online. So I'm really sad about that because I really wanted to show you what the difference is. But you know what? It's a good thing because why? You guys are gonna have to call me to get the quotes, right? And I can show you the difference of it. So it's a good thing. But I wanted to finish out and talk about these two green folders, right? These sexy green folders. The thin one, the term policy, and the thick one, the permanent policy. Okay, so I actually did some work already and I'm going to share with you. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, all right, so I've got here two columns, right? The term policy and the permanent policy, the thin folder and the thick folder. Okay, in a term policy, it's kind of like renting. Okay, you're going to be protected for a certain amount of years. Versus a permanent policy, you are going to be protected forever and it's lifelong. Yeah. So in a term, you can have a choice of 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. It's temporary. Yeah. In a permanent policy, you can be covered forever. If you live to 120 years old, you'll be covered to 120 years old. Okay. In a term policy, because it is renting, it is cheaper, right? In a permanent policy, it's more expensive because you actually own it forever. Doesn't matter how long you live. Okay. In a term policy, most policies outside of our company, you have to die to use your policy, whether it's term or permanent. In our policies, whether it's term or it's permanent, you will be covered if you die too soon. Yes, your family will receive some money, right? If you become sick, though, in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, right, then our term will pay out. In a permanent policy, it doesn't matter if you died or become ill or you live too long, you will be protected in all those cases, okay? In a term policy, because it is a term policy, there is no cash value tied to the policy. That means you will not be able to take out any loans like a permanent one that you could do, right? So that's to me a disadvantage, right? You're like saving money in a permanent policy, but in a term you're just paying money. Okay, so that's a big difference. In a term policy, right, there's no tax saving. You really just are paying for the policy. And if you don't use it in the next 10, 20, 30 years, then you don't die, you don't get sick in the next 10, 20, 30 years, you've just lost all the money you put inside, okay? But in a permanent policy, it is a forced savings account. It's forcing you to save for your future, which is amazing, right? And because of the tax advantages and the IRS approved tax advantages, you will be able to take out money tax-free as a retirement income for the rest of your life, right? And we actually have the LIBOR option, which is a lifetime income benefit rider. That means you can take out the money tax-free for the rest of your life, right? In a term, of course, we don't have that because there's no cash value, right? I already mentioned that in a term and a permanent, in our company, you have the full living benefit. In other companies, please double check your life insurance policy because I know a lot of it, you have to be dead to use the policy, okay? In our term, and many other terms, you have the option to convert it to a permanent policy within the first 20 years of your policy, right? In a permanent policy, well, it's already converted. It is already permanent, so you don't have to do anything like that sense, okay? But like I said, in a term, there's no savings component, there's no cash value, but in a permanent policy, it's a savings account. It's forcing you to save every single month so that you have a better future, okay? Let's talk about rates. Well, men are always going to be more expensive than women. Children always more cheaper than an adult. Of course, adult more expensive than a child. Yes. If you smoke, it's always going to cost more than a person that does not smoke. If you already have some pre-existing condition, if you're already sick already, it will always be more expensive than a person that is healthy. Never mind if you get approved or not, right? That's another big major concern, right? If you get it now, it is going to be less expensive. If you get it later, it's going to be more expensive. So what do you got to do? You got to call me right now. Laugh out loud. Okay. All right. So a lot of clients, they already have life insurance. The ones with cash value, all we got to do is do a 1035 exchange. Okay. If it's a term policy, then all you got to do is get approved with our company first. And then later we can cancel your other existing policy. Right. But you're saving money. Are you saving it where it's tax free or are you going to be taxed later on? That's the important question. So call me.